Right, now I've had a bit of spare time on my hands over the last few days, so I just had a quick look at what the usual suspects were up to. This is a presentation that Neil Geddes Ward did. Neil Peel at the Paranormal Peep Show is the, or Neil Peel, the Paranormal Peep Show is the channel. The Apollo Detectives presentation by Neil Geddes Ward at the Truth Seekers. Well, I don't quite know what Truth Seekers might be doing watching anything presented by Neil Geddes Ward, but there we go. The last thing they're going to hear from Neil Geddes Ward is the truth. Okay, so what Neil Geddes Ward and Scott Henderson say is it's impossible for the astronaut shadow to be in that direction with the shadow from the rock in that direction without more than one light source. Okay, so, and I think they're commenting that the other shadows are going in different directions. This is entirely dependent on the shape of the object and, you know, how it's orientated towards the sunlight. You know, is it on perfectly flat ground? Is it on uneven ground, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, so they tell us this is impossible with only one light source, that being the sun. So I just went out in the garden, picked up a rock, put it on the driveway, and took this picture here. I actually did a little video clip, so I can show you, I'll include the video clip along with this video. So looks a bit like a dog's head, doesn't it? And it's because it's that shape that the sun is casting a shadow that appears to be towards me, the astronaut. See, my shadow is that way, rock shadow is that way, and there are some smaller rocks around. That show their shadows going away again. So that one there appears to be going that way, doesn't it? Like that. All depends on the size and shape of the object casting the shadow. They're not remotely interested in truth. Do you see much difference between that? And that? There's the astronaut casting the shadow that way, the rock is casting the shadow that way. They tell us it's impossible. That's just me picking up a rock from the garden, putting it on the driveway and doing a quick little video. What do you think? Do you think it's impossible? Maybe I could go and do another one, move the rock a little bit further away from me if they're not happy with that. But, you know, I mean, that I think is pretty convincing. Shows you all you need to see, doesn't it? You know, there's only the sun in the sky, me and a rock. And there's the astronaut with the rock. So let's just have a look at the little video that I did. Actually, let's just hear what he's actually got to say about this.
Light source of sun. That can't be possible, can it? So I've been playing around with my own shadow, but for a minute we'll see Bart Sibrel's
yeah, okay. I've done other videos as well with radio masts and things, and you know, it completely debunks this utter nonsense. Where's I was going to look for Henderson, and he basically he's saying that what I just said, that it's all impossible. So anyway, I'll let you look at the video, and you can make your own mind up, and perhaps Neil Peel or Scott Henderson could comment on it. It should be fun, shouldn't it? Here we go. Well, hello again. I thought I would I'll just show you something that I thought was quite interesting. I was watching that recent ridiculous presentation by Neil Geddes Ward, they all are. So he shows an astronaut's shadow and then a shadow from a rock and says that the shadow from the rock should not be going towards the shadow of the astronauts. So I've just got a rock out of the garden, put it on the floor. Now, I've said in previous videos, the size and shape of the shadow depends on the size and shape of the object casting the shadow. So, and the angle of the sunlight, of course, is only one source of light. Here it is, the sun up in the sky. See that? Shadow's getting longer. And it's pointing even more towards me, isn't it? And he's saying, oh, the shadow from the rock should be parallel. As you can see, clearly isn't, is it? Let's go around it. There you go. So that's the rock, and because the rock is sort of extending itself to the right in this picture, just as the rock in the Apollo photograph is extending itself to the left, that's why I put it that way round, so that when I stand over here and cast my astronaut shadow next to it, you can clearly see the shadow comes in to meet my shadow, doesn't it? It's not going off at an angle parallel with me, is it? Like that. It's at an angle like that. And that's because of the shape of the rock. Yeah, I can't quite get it to cast a shadow in parallel with myself because of the shape of it, but that's the sort of point of the video. So the picture they show is the astronaut. I'm trying to duplicate that picture, and he says this couldn't possibly be taken with sunlight. Okay, so I'm the astronaut, there's the rock. What do you think? Is that shadow in parallel with mine? Or does it give the impression that it's coming in towards me, just like in the Apollo astronaut photograph? So there's Scott Henderson's impossible Apollo picture. Get it back a bit maybe, I can't remember quite where the astronaut was. The sun's reasonably low in the sky, so I can't get too far back, otherwise I don't see the shadow. But I think that's a pretty good approximation of the picture shown by Neil Geddes Ward, and as stated by the chef as being impossible. That's what would a chef know, of course, about any of this stuff. Certainly no expert, is he? Yeah, take another step forward just to exaggerate the shadow, to bring the point home even more. See, it's the shape of the rock. Because the shape of the rock is extended towards me, the shadow is extended towards me. It's pretty simple stuff, really. I mean, Marcus Allen knows they all went to the moon. I don't know why he keeps saying that they didn't, but he's supposed to be some sort of photography expert, isn't he? Surely, Marcus, you could explain to your colleague, Mr. Ward, and Geddes Ward and Henderson, that they're talking out of their wrinkly, pimply backsides, just as you do all the time. So there we go. Astronaut and rock. Someone that knows absolutely nothing about what they're looking at says the shadow should be there in parallel with me. As you can see, it's clearly at an angle like that, exactly as the Apollo image that he uses to demonstrate artificial lighting shows. And this is me just standing on the driveway in the brilliant West Australian sunshine. I can just get that up there. There you go. Where is it? There somewhere. Yeah. So there we go. Astronaut and rock. I'm having to lean a bit to get rid of the glare on the... I'm doing this with the phone. The camera hasn't got a battery in it. Well, it's flat at the moment. I haven't done any videos for some time. So yeah, just doing that with the phone. Astronaut and rock. So there you go, clear demonstration using sunlight that all these Apollo defectives are talking out of their backsides. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll catch you again.